deliberately started improvising something. And I, had this acoustic guitar. I suppose I sort of vaguely played along. He had a different way of looking at music from me. I looked at music in terms of chords, melodies and words, and Chris looked at it as rhythm, bass lines, and melody now. But even now, we look at music in a different way, which is a good thing. We fill each other's gaps.
Trying to record a new single, August 1996.
Shall we listen to this through from the top? Are you going to listen?
I am listening. I can't switch my ears off,
I don't think that's true, actually.
Well, I cannot concentrate.
Bit of
not loud
volume.
enough.
I don't speak the language, I can't understand the word. When angels fear to tread, I sometimes walk and try to talk. But how can I be
Oh, I don't know. I sort of think if we're going to do this, we should start from scratch and make a new record of it.
There's no point starting anything now, is there?
No point starting it now. And what time is it? It's 7:10.
I always prefer album tracks to singles anyway, though. That's my problem. I don't normally like hit singles. I mean, when's George Michael ever written a single? He never writes singles, does he? They're all album tracks. Well, Wham, yeah. And that was all Andrew Ridgeley anyway. Yeah. And that other one, David Austin, it was all David Austin and Andrew Ridgeley. We could speed it up and make it more single-like.
That's what I'm saying. If we do anything, we've got to start from scratch.
Yeah. Anyway, let's listen to this, and then before Coronation Street starts in 10 minutes...
we won't be able to do that.
Neil, I can knock up a new bass line and stuff really quick. Takes literally seconds.
We started off this trying to do an edit of Discoteca and Bilingual together, and we couldn't do it because it becomes a medley. It starts to sound a bit like Jive Bunny.
Come on, everybody!
Come on, everybody!
You can actually sing that over it.
Yeah, it's the right rhythm. Oh yeah, this is it. Come on, everybody! Oh, actually, I think it's a waste of time. It's really.
We need to write something more like the Spice Girls for the next single, don't we? Neil, the time I met him, looked very booky. He wore glasses and... Oh, I know what he was. He always used to wear a Just 17 sweatshirt inside out. But he didn't look like he had pop star potential at all. In fact, I was amazed at the transformation. Stunned.
He was younger, 5 years younger than me. I thought he was quite unusual. He was very self-conscious, in a way. He had outrageous opinions, which of course he still does. Or you could interpret them as outrageous. He was sort of unsure of himself. Actually, it's a strange mixture that he still is. He was unsure of himself, in some ways, but also completely sure and clear about his likes and dislikes. 100% clear about his likes and dislikes. I'm sort of the opposite. I'm reasonably sure of myself. I'm never 100% sure of my likes and dislikes.
Answering questions from fans, November 1996.
I have a question to Chris, but I think it's an embarrassing one. Really? Oh, it is an embarrassing one. I'd like to ask you, if it is too cheeky, what would you do if your private parts started to itch when you are in public, on stage, during interview, etc.? We all know the answer to this. Would you scratch no matter how embarrassing it would be, or would you wait until it stops itching? Claire, Hungary.
I would obviously scratch. Just like I would pick my nose.
And indeed have done on television several times.
Scratch my bottom, do anything like that. I've got a problem with that. I wouldn't find it embarrassing. Because everyone has an itch every now and then. They're there to be scratched.
Many's the time I've said to Chris, do you have to pick your nose live on television? The immediate impact of me meeting Chris was that he liked different kinds of music to me. He liked imagination, body talk, which I was sort of a bit appalled by in a way, because it's not the kind of music I would have thought was cheesy. I mean, I was someone who had one of those grey raincoats that one later thought of as the garb of Echo and the Bunnymen fans. We both liked Soft Cell, Tainted Love, Say Hello, Wave Goodbye, and Bed Sitter.
And now I'm all alone in Bedsit Land, my only home.
And that synthesizer thing that was happening definitely interested both of us.
We used to do these sort of demos of songs, recording from the keyboard to the cassette player and then overdubbing all the time, putting loads of different things on and trying to remake these electronic dance records that use sequences and stuff, all played manually, thinking everything we were doing was absolutely brilliant.
Chris didn't like the kind of words I wrote. It was at this time that Chris made his remark to me, which he can't remember making, that I should make the words more sexy and not be so singer-songwritery. And that definitely changed the way I thought about writing lyrics. I suddenly realised we were writing songs that I would never have written myself before. I deliberately wrote the kind of words that I thought Chris would like, about very strong, passionate feelings, rather than any kind of analysis or anything like that. It was more about a sense of anticipation or the excitement of going out into London. London seemed exciting in those days. Chris and I have always walked around London a lot together. Even now, you'd be liable to bump into us wandering down in Dean Street or something.
I think we were very influenced by Depeche Mode at the time, so you tended to get sort of plinky plonky kind of synth sort of sounds.
We had this song called Bubba Dubba Dubba Dum, and for some reason I thought this stupid chorus. We had another song which had spoken verse and then just had a little theme as the chorus. It was the most unusual start song. It's called Oh Dear. I was walking down the high street in the middle of the night. Someone caught my eye and I nearly died of fright. Crossed the road to whisper something secret in my ear, and now I'll never be the same again. Oh dear. We used to think it was really funny, this.
I was walking down the high street in the middle of the night. Someone caught my eye and I nearly died of fright. Crossed the road to whisper something secret in my ear, and now I know I'll never be the same again. Oh dear.
Anyway, I looked up in the back of the Melody Maker, a little 8-track studio, and we went and made this demo. We called ourselves West End. All the record companies we sent them to rejected it. And anyway, the wonderful thing that happened was the guy that owned the studio, Ray Roberts he was called, he was quite impressed. And after that, in that autumn 1982, Chris and I started going into his studio.
Running a demo studio, 99% of people are totally boring, I'm afraid. I gradually began to realise that there was something a bit different about their songs. And I really got genuinely interested in extracting their talent, you know, making the most of it. They would come in on a Saturday, maybe around about lunchtime. The main room, the studio, was where we all worked. And the control room was a little room under the pavement, actually. It used to be a coal hole, believe it or not.
And during that period we wrote loads of songs. We'd often write 2 a night or 3 a night or whatever. We wrote things like Jealousy, Rent, It's a Sin.
And then one day Chris said, why don't you sing Let's Make Lots of Money? And he was playing this thing. And I think he actually sang Let's Make Lots of Money. And I thought, oh, I've got the brains to do what the looks, let's make lots of money. We wrote the whole song immediately in about 5 minutes. And we thought it was funny, we were laughing while recording it. We were laughing.
Discussing the concept of irony, November 1996.
The problem is